WMFD.com. It is Coffee Talk with Jay Fox, being brought to you in part by the Cove Coffee Shop and the new Cove Pizza Shop in Ontario, downtown Ontario. They have curbside pickup. You can eat there or you can take it to go. Joining us on the program today is Joe Zara. He is the president, CEO, and owner of Zara Construction, and they are based right here in Ontario. How are you, my friend?
Wonderful, Jay. How are you?
I am doing well. I bet you are very glad to have 60-degree weather and no rain.
It's amazing. I hope it lasts.
Well, I think we're going to have at least 24 more hours of good weather before the rain hits, and we'll go from there.
We'll take it all.
Absolutely. So let's jump right into it. The first thing first, congratulations. You are going to be associated with the absolute #1 name in home improvement in the country. Guy's name is Danny Lipford, and you have started as a sponsor of the Home Improvement Minutes that he is running on our radio stations, ESPN 106.7 and 1440 and 99.3 The Light. How did, aside from the obvious answer, what was your impression of Danny Lipford when you heard the opportunity was available?
He's amazing. He has a tremendous base of knowledge and a tremendous base that reaches the homeowners that don't really have a tie to general construction knowledge. So he has a good feed to the general population that wouldn't normally have an understanding how things are done. And the snippets of information are good because it gives people some information to feed off of and think about.
Well, absolutely. And it's those thoughts that help them make the decision as to what they're going to do. Because, right now in the counties that we are servicing, I don't think in my years of cognizance, I've ever seen a real estate market as tight as it is right now.
That's
Literally,
correct.
The house goes on the market and an hour later it's sold. I've never seen anything like that.
Yes, let's hope it keeps up. We're in a very tight economy with homes. And if individuals are shopping for homes, they better shop fast and quick.
Well, and not only do they have to shop fast and quick, they have to be pre-qualified, they have to have their money ready to go, and they have to be able to make an immediate decision and make an offer.
That's correct.
And, buying a house is a very, very personal decision that usually lasts, 30 or more years. So if you're forced into a situation where you've got to make an immediate decision, the probability that you will make the wrong decision is very high.
Yes.
So then here you are 6 months later and you're like, well, why did we do this?
Buyer's regret. Yes.
Buyer's regret. Exactly. So probably the best way to avoid buyer's regret or buyer's remorse is to think about your existing property and the things that you could do to make the property more livable for you based on your changing circumstances. So let's go room by room through a house and let's talk a little bit about some of the possibilities. And probably, and I'm going to ask you this, I have my opinion, but do you think the kitchen or the bathroom is the #1 point of focus when somebody is thinking about, we need to make a change?
I think we see a lot more leaning on the kitchen because it's driven by the cooker or the chef of the home.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that because you're talking to the chef in the house.
Yeah, that's right.
All those years I was married, my wife never lifted a spatula. So,
well, it all depends on the view of the home. Some of the older homes, of course, bathrooms are first to go. And the individual, it's unlimited what they can do in regards to the layouts and configurations of a kitchen. As we're a bathroom, you're kind of limited to the size of the room and what you can do. Kitchens are personal things, just like any other home buying attribute. If they want an elaborate chef kitchen, well, they're going to spend a lot of money today. And a lot of the homes around here, of course, are standardized. They were going back to the 70s, when they had the avocado fridge and stove, and the updates are just standardized. Sure. So, there's a lot of options out there for individuals. They can glamorize it or make it based on function. And it depends on budget. You can spend a lot of money in a kitchen, and same with a bathroom.
So when you do a kitchen remodel, what does that entail? Do you just remove and do the legwork and then appliances come from another source, or can you do a soup to nuts kitchen?
We can do soup to nuts.
Okay.
We do layout. We can do in-house layout, but we also have our subcontractors or our vendors do us layouts in multiple fashions to give the best utilization of that area for the homeowner. Some homeowners might want a 48-inch gas range, as where someone might want a standard 30-inch range. So you have to manipulate and use the area that you have available for the individual's taste.
So customized appliances are still able to be purchased where you can use the dimensions and, create an appliance based on the space?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's getting hard though right now due to COVID. Typical standardized order times have been elongated. Things we used to get in 2 or 3 weeks are now sometimes waiting 2 or 3 months to get those items. So it depends on the individual's, goal of what they want to purchase. Sometimes they have to adjust those dreams to make sure they get what is available.
How important are the water lines in deciding what to do in a kitchen? Is it easy to move a water line, or do you kind of have to work around where they are?
Well, it depends on accessibility from below and how extensive the demolition process is to reconfigure the kitchen area. If it's a gut down to studs, you can do whatever you'd like.
Okay.
If you're working with existing wall surfaces and you're tied to where they're at.
Now, what about, support beams and things like that? Because those are issues that could affect a remodel.
Absolutely. And they can be adjusted. If we get to a point where there's for example, a load-bearing wall in place and they want to open it up, we'll get an engineer involved, get a load-bearing beam in there, open that room up and make sure it becomes what their dream shows them that they want.
So we've talked about the kitchen. Now let's move into the bathroom. Sometimes people, when they have, for example, a 4-bedroom house and they have a family, and then, kids have gone to college, they don't necessarily need 4 bedrooms anymore. How often do you see somebody saying, okay, we want to take a bedroom and we want to expand the bathroom and maybe, do, like a storage closet with the other portion of the bedroom?
Yes, we've done several. It's a lot of in-depth planning. You're utilizing and eliminating a usable bedroom, but you're also gaining, as you said, the master wish suite bathroom. That's more attuned to the individual that's looking for the master suite.
Okay.
As opposed to an individual that wants to elaborate or expound on their primary bathroom.
Right. And what usually typifies the desire? Is it adding, a spa tub, or is it those step-in baths? What makes people want to change their bathroom?
The garden tubs have gone the way of past a little bit. Jacuzzi tubs are still fun for people. They like those. But more it's a separated tub, shower, compartmentalized shower area, compartmentalized toilet facilities, just sprucing it up to get you that hotel environment feel.
I see.
Modernized feel.
Now, how difficult is it to heat the bathroom floor?
There's a lot of options. The hydronics are great, but that's unlikely in most homes to have a boiler. So electronic floor heat's a wonderful option. It does a lot of gives you a lot of ability to plan layout and give you the path of multiple zones of heat.
Well, especially when we had that 1 week, a couple of weeks ago, where it was like, 4 below zero one morning. I mean, that to me is the ideal time to have a heated bathroom floor.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked about kitchens, we've talked about bathrooms. I would think, and correct me if I'm wrong, the next obvious choice would be, maybe adding like a Florida room or some room that is a conduit to the main house out to the backyard.
3-season rooms are very popular. Full when you talk about a 4-season room, basically it's an addition to your home that is functional year round. But we do have a lot of people who we installed the 3-season rooms, screened in areas, entertainment venue, the gas fireplace and hot tub areas, things of that nature. And again, with the COVID situation, everybody's spending a lot of time at home, so it's really exploded in that regard.
So how difficult is it to finish a basement? Is that something that you guys do?
Yes, we do. It's not difficult at all, but again, it takes a lot of planning. And you have to make sure, number one, that your basement is dry.
Right.
You don't want to spend a fortune and have it fail due to water intrusion. So it's a good, viable opportunity to have additional living space for entertainment, sewing rooms, rec rooms. But when you start getting into the realm of bedrooms in the basement, that's a whole different requirement. It requires egress to be available for emergency departures in case of fire, entrapment. So there's a lot of variables that are involved with it.
How does having a finished basement affect your HVAC distribution? Because normally the basement is cold, heat rises, and if suddenly you're using the basement as a living space in some capacity, you have to heat the basement. How does that work?
Well, if the unit is sized properly for the home, most times there's just a couple ducts that are dropped into the basement to keep the warmth, above freezing or whatever the case may be. But if it's sized properly, you can go ahead and attribute trunk lines and cold air returns that will facilitate that.
Okay. So aside from those 4 main areas, kitchen, bath, 3-season room, basement, what are some of the other interior home improvement projects that you guys are asked to do?
A lot of flooring upgrades. A lot of people today, for some reason, are going away from carpet. They want the vinyl flooring, actual wood flooring. Of course, tile or ceramic tile or stone is popular still. And just sprucing up, changing the trims. A lot of the older homes had the dark stained woodwork. People like to get those brightened up and painted. And of course, just general wall painting, ceiling painting.
So you guys will do painting?
Oh, absolutely. We run the gamut. We do everything from simple window installs to full-fledged remodeling of a home or new home construction.
Okay. And why do people need to replace their windows? Is it because they're losing dollars during heating or cooling a house because of draft?
Well, multiple things. Could be they had single pane windows in, old wood windows, seal failure. Mm-hmm. There's a multitude of things. The standard double hung 2-pane glass window today on a replacement window is a great value. You don't have to spend a fortune to do it, but just like anything else, you get what you pay for. There's definitely a quality product line out there that's going to give you a better return on your investment than going and getting a savings of a cheaper window, because it will cost you money in the long run.
How long are these jobs warranted for typically?
Labor typically is a year, and it depends on material. Material warranties vary. Some could be 1 year to 5 years, and we've seen warranties as high as 10 years.
Okay. So let's go outside the house. Outside, what are we doing the most of? Is it roof replacement?
We do a lot of roofs, but I'd say the biggest thing is just a general polishing of the exterior, whether it be new siding, exterior painting. A lot of homes today aren't the old wood paint situation. So, you have a lot of the cement board, fiber cement board on the exterior, painting of that. Mm-hmm. But typically it's a rewrapping of the home with new vinyl siding and recladding the windows, trim with the aluminum wraps.
Now, if you have aluminum siding, do you need to upgrade to vinyl siding, or are you okay typically?
Typically, you're fine if you can match the wood graining and the sizing, but you're still a maintenance issue with painting.
Right.
If you want to spruce it up and it's in stable condition, you can repaint it and get yourself some additional years of life out of it.
Now, how do we repaint these days? Do we use a brush or do we use spray?
Oh, no, it's sprayed.
Okay.
Yes.
See, I remember back as a child, my job was to get the scraper
Yes.
and then the sander and then the paintbrush.
You're really dating yourself, Jay.
Well, you know what? I look good for 103, don't I? But seriously, it is amazing how the techniques have changed over the years, because you used to hire a painter to do the outside of your house and it could take a couple of weeks. Now that spray job, it could take a lot less, only maybe
Absolutely.
a couple of days.
We have some fantastic painters that we do use as subcontractors. One is Robert Brothers Painting. The other one would be Eldridge Painting. Those guys are state-of-the-art guys, do fantastic work, but we also do a lot in-house. We have qualified guys here, been doing it for 15, 20 years. It's a skilled trade.
Yep.
And it does take some trial and error for a lot of guys. Homeowners can do it, but what a lot of these skilled men can do in 2 or 3 days would take a homeowner 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, and there's always the weekend warrior who wants to prove to his wife that he can get it all done, only to find out that we're going to have to call Joe and fix what the weekend warrior did.
We've rectified several of those situations.
That's right. We've saved a lot of marriages.
There you go.
What about doors? You guys get into garages and front doors and stuff like that too?
Interior and exterior residential doors, yes. Garage doors, we don't. We use Callahan door. For those, they do a fantastic job. Very qualified crew and a great product line. And it's just an issue where if it doesn't need fixed, don't fix it. But if it does need fixed, you better look at a replacement because of the technologies, the installation factors, a lot has changed over the years. And there's a lot of new options out there that the homeowners really need to do their homework on to be aware of.
Will you put up a fence?
Yes, we do, but that's not our mainstay. There's a great company here in Ontario, Eldridge Fencing. They do a fantastic job.
So basically what I've heard you say is that no matter what the job, you'll get it done, whether your crew does it themselves completely or where you don't do it, you'll bring in a subcontractor that you trust.
Absolutely. We're a general contractor. We'll do it all. Sometimes we tell the customer, call this individual. They will take care of you properly. There's no sense in them paying us money to make a phone call.
Now, let's say,
give them guidance.
Let's say, for example, that I have property and I want to build a small guest house on my property. Is that something you guys do, or is that beyond your?
Absolutely.
So you will build from scratch?
Absolutely. We do ground up construction every day.
Okay.
But that's, the Mansfield area, especially, if you build 10 homes today, I think you'd sell them tomorrow. That's just the limitations of the properties. But we built 4 homes last year, custom homes. But this year we have 3 on the schedule. Depends on weather and, of course, the increase in material costs. Some of these people may not be able to fulfill their obligation due to the increase in cost.
Now, when you go to buy a house, typically, in our society today, and it changes over the years, but we're back to the 15 to 25% down payment.
Mm-hmm.
And usually to get into a 3-bedroom house, we're going to be north of $100,000 if we're going to be in a decent property for the most part. Is that comparable to what it would take to build that same house, or would building that same house be more?
It would be more.
Okay.
You can't build what you can buy.
I see.
By today's dollars.
Got it.
So, I mean, there's a wide range on cost, and a lot of guys will give you a square footage cost, or, some guys today aren't even giving a contract cost. It's a cost plus to build a new home, and they'll give you a range. And of course, it depends on your choices on your product line. You can be $150 or $200 a square foot for for a new build, depending on the avenue of your finishes.
Got it.
So there are a lot of variables.
So if I've got a house that's worth $200,000 and maybe I'm halfway through paying down the mortgage, so let's say I've got 75 grand in equity in my house, I have enough to at least do something.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then do you advise people as to how that work is going to increase the value of their house?
No, that's more in tune with a realty company or somebody that's going to do a comparative price comparison for them with the other properties in their neighborhood.
Right, because I guess the choice is, are you building it for yourself or are you building it to increase the value to sell?
That's correct. You can spend $100,000 to put a master suite on. If that's your dream home and that's what you want, you're hitting the target. But if you put that $100,000 in that master suite, the individual who you may be trying to sell that to might look at it as a $25,000 value.
Right.
So it's very difficult and it's very subjective. We don't give that type of advice.
So basically, it's up to the homeowner to decide what their end result is going to be.
Absolutely. We'll give them an estimate based on price range, what the requirements are. And at that point, that's their decision to make it,
Sure.
expound on it or to pull back on what they're wanting to spend.
So how many crews are you running now?
We've got 7 full-time crews, and then we have a couple partials that are kind of floaters that go and do the miscellaneous.
Do you need help?
Absolutely.
What are you looking for?
Skilled labor, skilled carpenters, experienced mid-range gentlemen, driven individuals, somebody that's not afraid to work. And there's a lot of good guys out there, a lot of qualified companies and carpenters, but most of those guys are so busy that they would not come to a company like ours when they have their own plates full of work. But we are constantly looking to add to our staff.
So when somebody who is in the skilled trades is looking at your company versus a couple of the other general contractors that are out there who may also be looking, why should they come work for you?
Well, we're a 30-year company. We've been here. We stand behind what we do. We have a great reputation. We have a great office staff, and our field crews, we feel, are unprecedented. They're fantastic guys. The biggest thing is our longevity is we stand behind what we do. If we make a mistake, we're going to fix it. And, that's the biggest thing. Again, for us to be in this community, we have pride in our name. And our crews, they're exuberant about what they do and they love what they do. And the best thing at the end of the day is they're giving a customer a fantastic job. They want that customer to be happy, not only with what they're getting, but to be satisfied what they paid for it, that they got a quality job in the end.
So did COVID negatively affect your business in any way?
We were deemed essential.
Okay.
We shut down for 2 weeks at the peak of it just to protect our guys. So yes, it did affect us in regards to a lot of customers being scared of it, didn't want people in their house, which is 100% understandable. We had a few situations. We wouldn't send our guys into folks' homes. So it's been a jigsaw puzzle game here, trying to get all the pieces to hit.
Did you have to apply for any assistance programs?
Absolutely.
Okay. So how was that process for you? Was it easy to obtain that assistance?
It was streamlined, I think, for everybody in this area that applied. And again, if you're an operational business and you hit the wall, that assistance, if it wasn't there, you'd see a lot more failures than what's actually hitting the books today.
Do you think that we've dodged a bullet, that a lot of companies would have gone out of business if it weren't for those programs?
Absolutely, without question.
So as a business owner serving the communities of Richland County and beyond, what do you think we need to do going forward to stay economically viable and stay successful as a locally owned and operated business? What's the key to success in your opinion?
We have to watch the nickels. right now. Long term, it's all over the map. The reports we're seeing, housing's great. There's foreseeing another bubble supposedly. I guess just be fastidious with what you're doing as your business proceeds. We're 30 years in. It may not affect us as hard as it might affect a company that's been there 5 years. We have a good footprint of business that never fails us. We're constantly busy. So the phone keeps ringing, but there's a lot of questions that individuals are asking, more so now than ever before, in regards to, again, material placements, quantities, availabilities.
Right.
It's a different process.
Yeah, the supply chain has become more important than ever before.
Absolutely.
It almost harkens back to when my grandfather was running his construction company in Cleveland, and he would tell stories about how World War II affected his ability to get product in order to be able to provide service.
Absolutely.
The timing was stretched out, and promises, you had to be really careful what you promised back then.
Yeah, there are no promises.
Yeah,
it's got to be black and white, and it has to be cut and dry.
Yeah. So the word on the street is we're getting another stimulus check sometime here in the next 30 days. And taking that stimulus check and reinvesting it into your house is a better bet than going out and blowing it on a trip, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
There you go. Is there a website that the public can go to learn more about Zara Construction?
Yes, www.zaraconstructioninc.com.
Okay, Zara, Zara constructioninc.com is the website. We've been talking today with Joe Zara. He is the president, CEO, and owner of Zara Construction based in Ontario. And we thank you so much for being on the program. And we'll turn to you again for insights as we get into the season, because things change as the months go on, different projects. And you've been watching Coffee Talk. It's a service of WMFD Television, and it's available on WMFD.com, sponsored in part by the Cove Coffee Shop and the Cove Pizza Shop. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time on Coffee Talk.